So if you do some type of internet marketing, you pretty much have to be on that first page. So in this case, these people here and over here are bidding on the keyword or key phrase, real estate in Phoenix. And this is the paid SEM section. Over here to the left is what's called the free organic. You cannot buy your way, you cannot buy your position in that area. It is totally up to Google or Yahoo where you're going to be positioned, and we'll get into a little more detail on how they do that. But just to kind of give you some statistics, how many of you click on the sponsored right-hand side section? Okay. Are you, do you buy online? Okay. Typically what we found is the real statistic is 60% of the people that do a search will click left. 40% will click right, or top or right. The difference, which this is kind of interesting, and Nina, I think that this is why I asked you that, is typically that person that clicks top right is a buyer. I'm going to give you an example. And I'm so glad I have ladies in here because they usually help me out with this. How many of you, and you guys feel free to chime in on this as well, how many of you know the website or the online store Zappos? There you go. What a guy. Okay, Zappos is this huge shoe store online. It's fantastic. It's great. But anyway, my point in bringing that up to you is if I go on Google and I put in shoes, Zappos is always going to come up here in the sponsored, along with Nordstrom, shoes.com, etc. But what I'm going to find over here can be sites like research sites like Wikipedia. So I don't care that shoes were invented in whatever year and they're made out of leather and you can have this type of heel with shoestrings. I don't care about all of that. I just want to buy shoes. So, knowing that, typically your buyers are that 40% that click right and top and right are typically the buyers. Okay, so let's talk about how you get here. That's like the million-dollar question. Everybody wants to be here. A lot of things go into place as far as getting positioned. So what happens is when you submit your website to the search engines, all of the search engines will spider that site and they will get content. So when me as a consumer goes in and puts in one of your search terms, you have that availability to come up.
What's a spider?
It's just their software, the algorithms in their software where their software goes out and it crawls or spiders the different websites. So it can be their database, it can be other databases, it can be directory listings. It's just getting information and bringing it out, bringing it back based upon the search that was done. So they go out there and they look at your website and they give you a quality score. And that quality score is going to take an effect, for example, the keywords in your website, the headliner of your website. There's many different factors that the search engines use to position you over here. One of the big new things now is traffic. So what Google and Yahoo says, okay, you've got this good website and a lot of people, you're getting traffic in and out, a lot of people are seeing your website, you really must have a good quality website. Therefore, I'm going to put you up higher on the list. I'm going to reward you for having that quality website. So the quality score and Google's and Yahoo's choice, they put you where they want. And we'll do a search in a minute to show you kind of how that works. These people over on the top and the right they're bidding on keywords. You just can't compete with the big companies over here because of the traffic. So they come in here and they bid on keywords. We're going to do some live searches here in a minute. So what are keywords?
What you type in search, you know, when you have real estate.
Right. So this is, Real Estate Phoenix is called a search query or a search term, and that's considered a key phrase. So in this example, plumber is the keyword, 24-hour plumber is a key phrase, and Tampa 24-hour plumber is a key phrase with a geographic modifier. Remember when we looked at a couple slides ago where 50% of us put in Tampa and 50% of us don't? That key phrase with the geomodifier includes the geographic area. So it's just whatever we're looking for, whether it's yellow widgets, whether it's pink blankets, whatever it is, that search term is what we're looking for. Google and Yahoo go out and spider these websites, get that information, bring it back to us, and gives us that list of websites to choose from. Obviously, Google's pretty good at what they do. That's why 63% of us use Google. Something that my company on the back end will do is we'll put in with the response click product that New Fusion Media has, and we'll get into that later. One of the things that we will do for our customers or their customers are two things. We'll put in negative keywords. For example, if you're a jeweler and you sell wedding bands, we may put in wedding bands as a negative keyword because we don't want to waste your clicks on those 5-piece bands that play at weddings. Okay? So that's kind of the tricky part of doing search engine marketing, is really looking at it in a broad scope. So if I'm a jeweler and I do wedding bands, gee whiz, the guy that does the 5-piece little combo for weddings, he can be on my search. So that's something that we do on the back end. We also do what's called dynamic keyword insertion. What that means is, don't see it, this is kind of an old search. Well, so let's say in this search particular example, Real Estate Phoenix, a lot of times what we'll do is we will set it up with the search engines so that whatever search the user puts in, we're going to duplicate that key phrase in this blue area. Okay? What that means to the consumer is, gee whiz, I put in yellow widgets in Tampa, and this blue headliner says yellow widgets in Tampa. That's exactly what I want. Click. So we'll do things on the back end to make it more precise and to get the traffic. And really, when we get to this page, we're making a determination of who we're going to choose. There's probably 10, 15 different companies before the fold that we can choose from. So we're kind of comparing each of these, New Homes in Phoenix, Phoenix Real Estate, which one do we want to click on?